Hey all, welcome back. So, in yesterday's session, I have left the session with one question for you. That is, in order to toggle the values, that is, in order to flip flop the values, if the value is a, if we have taken two variables like a equal to 2, b equal to 3, I have told you to write a code in order to toggle the values from a equal to 3 to b equal to 2. Okay, so today I'm going to explain about this code because this is very important, because mostly this in this type of toggling only we can know the difference between what is the difference between blocking statements and non-blocking statements. Got it? So okay, before going into the topic, if you are new to my channel, consider subscribing my channel and hit on the notification bell also. Also follow me on LinkedIn and Quora, where I'll be answering your questions. Okay, so let's not waste any more time. Let's dive into the topic today, which is blocking statements, as well as we will discuss about non-blocking statements also. What is the difference between blocking statements and non-blocking statements? We will be seeing it today, right? So this is the code that I am talking about. See, if you see the code here, bridge 3 down to 0. So I have taken like a b any value, okay, but here I have taken like data and y. Okay, so here in data I have taken the value 5, and in y I have taken the value 3. Now what I want to toggle these values. That means by the end of the program, what I want is, I want the y value to be 5 and the data value to be 3. Let us see how this is going to work out. So this is my program. Now if I am running this program, what is the value that we are getting? Is the value that we are expecting is the output that we are getting? If you see here, what is it? Have you seen the output here clearly? This is my output. So what is the values that I given? Data is 5, y is 3. And what is the value that I am expecting? Data should be 3 and y should be 5. But what is the value I am getting? What is the actual output that I am getting? Okay, my expected value is far away from the result that I achieved here. Why? What is this happening here? So let me explain it clearly to you. Here, what is happening means data equal to 5, right, and y equal to 3. This is the value that I have initialized, okay, at 0 time interval. Now I have taken two initial blocks, okay, so both will be running at 0 time only. This is fine, but this, if you see, this is equal to symbol. In the previous session, have talked you about how the blocking statements will be running. Okay, if you didn't see that session, I'll be linking that in the description box. You first go check it out and then come here, because if you don't listen blocking statements execution, then you can't understand what is happening here. So my request is to go and check there and then come to this particular blocking statement session. Okay, so in blocking statements, they will be executed sequentially. That means in series, one after one another. So what is happening here means, first this initial block will be executed, and then after the assignment is completed, then the second initial block is going to execute. Now what is happening? What is the value of the data at 0 initial time? That is 5. So what is there in data? That is going to y. So what is the y value now? 5. Okay, so my data is 5 and y is 5. Okay, so that is why in the first block both values are 5. Got my point here? And then after execution of this initial block, then comes this initial block, because step by step, like after execution of one statement, then comes the second statement. Now what is happening? Now what is there in y? That is going to data. Now what is there in y? 5 is there in y. Obviously the 5 is assigned to data. Now what is happening? The data is 5 and y is 5. So is this the statement that has come in the output that you have seen before on the area playground, right? Have you got justification why all the values are 5 here now? Clear? So this is what happening. So what we actually want to flip the values. Like we have taken 5 and 3, and we are expecting the value for like 3 and 5. But what is the value that we are getting? Either all 5s we are getting. Got it? So this is how the thing is happening in case of blocking statement. Now, in order to achieve what we want, what we need to do? Okay, the thing I need to do is we need to go for non-blocking assignments. Clear? So now today let us explain about what is non-blocking statements. Okay, it is entirely opposite to blocking statements, we could say. Okay, what is happening in blocking statement? Everything is executed sequentially. That means one after another, one after another. Everything is executed sequentially. Whereas when coming to non-blocking statements, what is happening means all the statements that you are, for example, you are giving some 5 statements, all these statements are executed parallelly. That means that is non-blocking. That means execution of first statement doesn't have any impact on the second statement. Execution of second statement doesn't stop the third statement. Similarly, the remaining two. Like if you have given 5 different assignments for these 5 statements, then all the assignments are done at the parallelly. That means everything is doing its work parallelly without blocking the remaining statements. That is why we call this as non-blocking. That means it is not blocking any statement. Every statement is executed parallelly in case of non-blocking procedural assignments. Got my point? So when coming to non-blocking assignments, this is the symbol, like less than or equal to, like this it is. Okay, so this is the symbol for non-blocking assignments. Right? Clear? For blocking the symbol is equal to, whereas for non-blocking this is in this way. Okay, clear? So non-blocking assignment starts its execution. Here one more important thing is, in case of blocking, what is happening? For example, here a equal to b plus c, okay, x equal to z into y. These are my two expressions considered. Okay, so in case of blocking statements, what is happening here? Okay, so in case of blocking statements, the execute first the operation is being done. That means b plus c is done, and then as soon as the RHS is completed, RHS operation is completed, it is immediately assigned to LHS. Is it or not? After the execution of this statements, then comes this statements. What is happening here? Z into Y is operation is being done, and then immediately it is assigned to this hex. Okay. After the assigning of this value, then comes the next statement if anything is there. Okay, so this is what happening in blocking statement. Is it or not? So in case of non-blocking statement, what is happening here is, first B plus C operation is done. Like B plus C, what is the operation that is being done here? Everything is done, like B plus C is done. But the assignment is not done immediately. That is the difference between blocking and non-blocking statements. Okay. Here the RHS operation is being done, but the assignment for LHS is not done immediately. Then when is it going to be done? Here, generally in case of non-blocking statement, for example, these two are the only expressions in my particular block. Now what is happening means, first b plus c operation is done, but assignment is not done. Then z plus y operation, because all will be done parallelly, not first and second. Everything, all operations will be done parallelly, like b plus c operation, z into y operation. If you are having some 3 more operations, all the operations will be done. Then if you consider these two are the only statements, then after z into y operation is done, then the assignment is going to take place. That means all the statements are first operations. All the LHS block will be operated first. Sorry, all the RHS block will be operated first, and then after the last RHS operation is done, then the execution will be, sorry, then the assignment is done to the LHS. Got my point? So this is how basically the non-blocking assignment is done. Okay, if you don't understand here also, don't worry, I'll give you one more example clearly so that you can understand it very clear. So after that example, I think you don't need to go further in order to you don't have to confuse between blocking statement and non-blocking statement. Okay, here all assignments deferred until all RHS sites have been evaluated. That is what I'm telling. All the until all the values, all the expressions in RHS are completed, then assignment is done. Until then all the assignments are deferred, that means they are stopped there. Okay, so because of this stopping, it avoids the race around condition. We will also see it in the further classes, like what is race around condition, how and how is it avoided in non-blocking statements. Okay, because one of the major disadvantage in blocking statements is race around condition, and that is overcome in non-blocking procedural assignments. We'll be seeing how is that going to happen. Okay, so that is what blocking assignments always suffers from race around condition. Race around condition means, I think everybody know about it, but if you don't know also, race around condition means, for example, if I am taking like a equal to b, okay, and also if I am taking like a equal to x, that means I am assigning my a value for both b and x, or both values I am assigning to the same variable. Okay, so in this case, in blocking statement, you will be getting race around condition, like it will be getting confused whether has to be the value of b, has to take the value of b or x, because both are different values but are assigned to the same variable. So in this case the race around condition occurs. Okay, we'll also be how we'll see how we are going to avoid this race around condition by using non-blocking statements in the further classes. And one more important thing in non-blocking assignments is, because most of them confuse with this, like if you see here, this is one of the relational operator also. Okay, less than or equal to, this is the relational operator, and also this is the symbol for non-blocking assignment also. So how can you get the difference between relational operator and like uh, non-blocking statements? Nothing but, if less than is used in an expression, that means if you are taking like a less than or equal to b with a sign, okay, assign some h equal to a less than or equal to b. If you are taking like between two operands, if you are assigning it, then this is the relational operator. But you are just using it for assigning, like if you are using it like this, that means this is assignment. Okay, non-blocking assignment, this is, that means you are assigning the b value to a. But for example, if you see the same expression, if you are writing like that, assign h equal to a less than or equal to b. Now what is happening? Assign h. Okay, what you are assigning? You are assigning the relational operator to this h. Got my point? That is the difference between non-blocking assignment and the relational operator. Clear? So now let us see that what we have discussed before. Like I have told you what is this RHS and LHS, right? So now I'm going to give you with small example here. See, I have taken always block. We have already discussed about the always block in previous sessions also. I'll also be linking that in the description box, because when you are studying the non-blocking statements, when you are studying the behavior model, non-blocking statements, you need to know the behavioral modeling. So in behavioral modeling, you will be having initial block, always block, and then comes blocking assignments and non-blocking assignments. So these all things you need to know in order to have. So these are just like basics. Okay, if you don't know basics, then and if you are directly jumping into blocking and non-blocking assignments, in some cases you can't understand actually what is happening. So that is why first go listen like what is initial and always blocks, and then come for blocking and non-blocking assignments. But if you know it, is fine. Okay, always at the rate a or b or c. Okay, this is the sensitivity list. I think you already know about it. So now what is this? What I am taking? Since I am taking multiple statements, it should be between begin and end. Fine. X, okay, equal to a or b. This is equal to, this is the non-blocking assignment. Okay, x equal to a or b, y equal to a x or b x or c. Okay, z equal to b and negation of c. These are the assignments that are giving and then end. So if you see, I am having three statements, 1 2 3. Okay, now coming to the execution of these statements, how it will be happening when you are using a non-blocking assignment. As I told you, in non-blocking assignment, if you see, this is my RHS, this is my LHS, is it or not? So here all the RHS are being done at the same time. See, evaluate A and B. Here that evaluation is done. That means, for example, if you are taking A equal to 0, B equal to 1, C equal to 1. Now A or B means 0 or 1. That means the value is 1. Here the evaluation is done, but the assignment is not done. Similarly, here the evaluation is done, like 0x or 1x or 1. The evaluation is done, but the assignment is not done. Evaluation is done, but assignment is not done. So after this particular evaluation, after the third statement evaluation is done, then if it if it finally confirms that there are no further statements that need to be evaluated, then what happens? Then it starts assigning all the values to x, y, z. Okay, that means here if you see a or b value is 1. Okay, ax or bx or value is 1. B and negation of c. For example, if you see b and negation of value is 0. Here the evaluation is done, but after the evaluation of this particular statement and confirming that there are no further statements to be evaluated, then the x value is evaluated as 1, y value is evaluated as 1, z value is evaluated as 0. Until then, this x, y, z value holds all these LHS variables, hold the values of the previous. For example, if you are having any previous values, these values will be holding those previous values. These variables will be holding those previous values. Got my point? In some cases, for example, here this is the difference between blocking and non-blocking assignments. But for example, in some cases both will be having the same output. Like either if you are using simple statements like this, both outputs will be same. You don't see much difference when you are using different kinds of variables. But you will be seeing difference when you are using toggling cases. If you see, when you are in the before thing I have told you about toggling program. Okay, generally when you will see difference when you are using toggling cases or remaining any other some things where you use same variables but you will give different values and all. So mostly in such cases you will be knowing the difference between blocking assignments and non-blocking assignments. So if you see here, see, this is what in the previous program, if you see, this is the case, is it or not? Here a equal to 1, b equal to 0, and what I am doing, I want to shift the values like a equal to 0, b equal to 1. Okay, just like in the previous program, like toggling program only, this is the thing here. But in that program I have taken two initial blocks, but here I am taking two always blocks. Okay, so always at the rate of passage of clock A equal to B. Always at the rate of passage of clock B equal to A. Now according to us, what should be this output? A should be having value 0, B should be having value 1. But this won't be the case because we already see it. Either both of them will be 0 or both of them will be 1. Why? Why is it? Because so always block, if you see, either this will be executed first or this will be executed first. Okay, like always, because it will be starting at 0 time interval only. Okay, either this or this will be executed first. Either this passage clock will be activated first or this passage clock will be activated, because you have given both passage of clock only. So either this will be activated or this will be activated. For example, if you think this particular block is activated, this particular always block is activated, now what happens? What is the value of A? A value is 1. So that is assigned to B. Okay. After this execution, then comes this execution. Now what is the value of B? B is 1. So obviously A is 1. Okay. So in this case, if this block is activated, A is 1 and B is 1. Got my point? And now, for example, if you think that this passage of clock is activated first and this passage of clock is activated next, now what happens? In this case, if this passage of clock is activated, then what happens? What is the value of B? B value is 0, so that is assigned to A. Okay, and then after this process, this obviously will be executed. Now what is the value of A? Value of A is 0. So then the value of B is also 0. Got my point? So this is what that is happening in toggling cases in blocking statements. So as I told you, in order to avoid this, we have come to non-blocking assignments. So let us see in this non-blocking assignments what is the thing that is happening. So as I already told you, in case of non-blocking assignments, first the initialization or evaluation is done, and then later the values are executed. Is it or not? So now what is the value of at the rate of passage of clock? Okay, what is the value of B? B value is 0. Now what is the value of A? A value is 1. Or after this A value is 1 is initialized, then the assignment is down. Now what is the value of A here? A will be value is 0 and B will be 1. Now, so at the 0 clock cycle, at the first clock cycle, what is the value of A? A is 0, B is 1. Have you seen this? Has the value is toggled? Is it or not? Now what after second clock cycle? That means after at the first passage of clock, this toggling is done. This value is done. Now at the second passage of clock, what will be happening? Again reverse. Like A equal to 1, B equal to 0. Like flipping, flopping. Like all the values will be at always 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0. In this way you will get the output. Got my? So this is what we need. Is it or not? Okay. Now let us see this program. This is the same program that we have written. Have you seen this? So module non-blocking. Okay, these are the values that I am taking, like y. Here if you see, this is the non-blocking assignment. So less than or equal to symbol. Okay. So y equal to data, data equal to y, and then monitor. Now if you run here, you will get to see the output. So 5 and 3 are the values. I want to flop them. Okay, so see, first 5 and 3 are the values in the first block. Then after that, in the second block, what is happening? Data is 3 and 5. Got my point? Right? Now, did we achieve our thing? Like, did we achieve our concept of toggling in case of non-blocking assignment? Right? So here what is happening? Let us see one more time. Here data value is 5, y is 3. I have initialized the before values. Now in within initial and begin, okay, first I have taken display. In order to display the original values, I have taken it a display. Okay, so now what is my data? Data is 5 and then y is 3. This is my original values. Okay, and then I have started the transformation. Like here if you see, now what will happening? First, what is the data value that is initialized here? That is 5, and parallelly the y value is also initialized here. Now after the values are initialized, after the value is initialized to 3, then the assignment takes place. Then the value of y will be equal to 5, and then the assignment of data like 3. Now what is happening? The data value will be 3 and the y value will be 5. Got my point? This is how. So the second output you are having this type of output. Got my point? So we'll see the difference between blocking and non-blocking assignments. Got my point? So if you like my video, consider subscribing my channel and hit on the notification bell also. Also share this video if you like my explanation to all the VLSA aspirants and VLSA enthusiasts who are also interested in VLSA front end domain. Okay, support me by subscribing my channel, because I'll be uploading more videos on system Verilog and UVM also. Your subscription and your liking is kind of motivation to me to move forward in this journey. Thank you.